My name is Jim O'Mahony, and it is my pleasure on behalf of our core project team to take you through this final report for the National Forum. We will not have time to go through every project in minute detail, but I do hope that the next 5 minutes or so will present to you a very good overview of the types of outputs that we are very proud of from our project submissions. As you're probably aware, Munster Technological University came into existence in January of this year. It is a very exciting time for us, and it means that we have even more capacity to transform the teaching and learning landscape across 2 campuses. I'd like to begin just by reviewing the process that we undertook way back in 2019. We decided to solicit submissions from across Cork Institute of Technology, after which we received 30 submissions, which were reviewed by an external panel of experts, from which 19 projects were chosen. These 19 projects represent 21 departments, over 100 staff, as well as 30 students who were involved in delivering these projects. The first project that we would like to talk to you about is the Tempo project, which was run from the Cork School of Music. And here is Dr. Hugh McCarthy, who will explain some more.
One of the key concepts of this project is the idea of inclusion and accessibility to higher education for people with disabilities. And what we're seeking to do is not just offer education to people with disabilities, but we're also really looking at the inclusion in the culture of higher education.
The next project we would like to talk to you about comes from the Crawford College of Art and Design and is led by Jessica Carson. Jessica and her students took a very innovative way of looking at learning spaces, as you'll see from the following video.
So here we are, September 2020. On a journey with 26 change makers to explore how being in nature and using bikes can enhance our learning as global citizens.
Next, we're going to feature some of the outstanding work performed by our library staff. This is led out by Michael Costello, and their purpose was to develop a suite of open educational resources aimed at information literacy for students, which has recently been launched on the library's YouTube channel. What is interesting about this project also is the fact that it is embedded into Canvas, which is our learning management system, and this allows students to enroll in modules that will improve their information literacy, and based on the H5P software platform that was used to generate much of the material, the students have a very immersive and rewarding learning experience. Now we're going to feature a project which again showcases the way in which student and staff partnerships can flourish, particularly in challenging times like a pandemic. This was led out by Eileen O'Leary, and it also showed how lecturing staff, technical staff and students can work together in a very challenging situation. This project involved the staff and students coming together and producing a series of chemistry-based practicals that could be delivered to students at their homes and carried out in their own time. And of course, this was linked back to academic modules that the students had to undertake. We would now like to feature the International Journal of Health Science and Professional Training, which is a student-led initiative, and it's in fact CIT's first student-led undergraduate journal. And this is the brainchild of Leslie Cotter and Bridget Lucy. And as you can see, the entire production of the journal, everything from the design to the content, the scope of the journal, the selection of articles, the review of the articles, was carried out entirely by the students with the mentorship of the staff involved. We would now like to feature the BALI project, which is the Building Assessment Literacy Initiative, led out by Sinead Huskinson and Will Carey and Cleona Hatano. And this again was another student-staff partnership which worked in 3 different working groups, and the purpose was to build a suite of resources and other initiatives that are aimed mainly at trying to improve the way in which staff and students engage with feedback. We'd now like to focus on one of our high-performing learning communities. This is the Maths learning community, who every year go from strength to strength and develop innovative and unique teaching and learning resources. This one in particular involved running student questionnaires, building a series of digital resources, getting an insight into the appreciation of maths throughout the undergraduate programs where maths features as a module, and then running a series of pilot studies around those resources. The funding from the National Forum also offered opportunities for our staff to reimagine the way in which programs are structured, and this was exactly the case for the Department of Management and Enterprise, who took a very fresh look at the way in which the program is presented to students and restructured the entire modular content and built a very innovative and unique way of how students and staff interact across the 4 years of an undergraduate degree program. We now move on and look at a project which was led out by Dr. Tom O'Mahony and his team from the Department of Electronic and Electrical Engineering. And the purpose of this project was to integrate graduate attributes which enable student success. And I'll leave Tom explain a little bit more about the concept of one element of this project.
And it would be there would be a progression where we'd just try and figure out, well, you know, what should a first year be able to do in terms of, for example, writing? What's the expected competence there? And how does that change as we move to second year? And how does that change as we move to third year? And how does that change as we move?
The pandemic threw up many challenges to lecturers, and none more so than how to reimagine the way in which laboratory practicals are carried out for students. And as we've seen already, some of the lecturing staff have undertaken very innovative ways of addressing that challenge. Another one undertaken by staff in the Department of Biological Sciences, led out by Dr. Caroline Vaughan, was how we could use simulations, in particular the use of a software tool called Labster, where students can undertake virtual laboratory exercises as a means of understanding some of the core concepts of working in a laboratory. We hope that you enjoyed that high-level overview of at least some of the projects and some of the outputs from initiatives that were undertaken thanks to the funding from the National Forum in the last 18 months or so. For more information, we would invite you to reflect on the report which has been submitted in parallel with this video. And if you have any further questions on this initiative, and in particular the outputs that we're presenting, we would be more than happy to engage with you in the future.